Your gender is reversed. What's the first thing you do? Send every mother guy that's ever sent me an unsolicited pic a ton of pics. Just pics of my everywhere, just beautiful pics of my in a tree or by the sea and all over the world alive and free. Yes, that's right, that's my new UC. Don't threaten me with a good time. What is this Dr. Seuss shit? In a tree. Okay, pro tip for all you reversed new men. The is not detachable. Well, not *re-attachable. Don't cut off your to take novelty pictures. Enjoy your new, y'all. Panic and check the internet to see if it's happening to other people. And what if it was? Maybe everyone discusses it online, but in public everything just acts like nothing happened. This would change social dynamics in hilarious ways. Imagine men coyly dropping hints and women going full savage mode. I think it would go one of two ways. The MTF women breathe a collective sigh of relief and wait for the FTM men make first moves, then not be able to handle the feeling of a cared for and second in command role. The human race dies out in social awkwardness, % of hyperbole unknown. Or people just collectively say it and it's a week-long fest as people try to shamelessly hook up with a member of their former they find attractive. Everyone gains empathy and humanity ascends unto a new golden era. 50/50ths TBH. Actually, I wonder if a trans person who had transitioned would revert back in this scenario. What a slap in the face. Can you imagine? Jesus. Do you smile or frown if you run out of donuts? That depends. If the donuts I'm using are either big or thick, then I'd be happy if I have managed to fit a dozen of them on the. If not, then I'd be disappointed and eat the remaining donuts left in the box. Not gonna eat those donuts that has my in it, that's gay. I think you're either misunderstanding the size of the average donut or the size of the average. A donut is usually a bit over an inch thick, so to get a dozen donuts on there you'd have to literally have the longest in the world. Knowing my luck? Menstruate. While I, on the other hand, would be so damn glad that I wouldn't have to think of that bloody mess. I'd have a hot water bottle ready for you though. If you don't want kids and are physically able, just get an implant. I haven't had a proper period in years. Tried IUD, wasn't for me. Cramps got even worse. Tried the pill version of the arm implant, those made me sick. So the implant would likely do the same thing. Currently on some other pill, which does some good. But it still sucks. Well, immediately, undress and probably do some of the weird helicopter things and other dance things all guys seem to do. Then pee standing up. Later, go for a run outside with my shirt off and enjoy not getting harassed. If you ran outside with you shirt off where I live, you're gonna get some intense glares, ain't nobody wanna see that. Are you a Brit too? You've got to be a fat, middle-aged, man with swimming trunks on and a can of beer to take your shirt off in Britain. No exceptions. Go out for dinner with so and do not order fries because I'm watching my weight and then eat all their fries. Dude, when I go on a date with a girl who does this shit, it is absolutely the last date. Why is this such a thing? I'm perfectly happy to buy 2 desserts. If you say you only want a bite of mine, then don't eat half my dessert. Joey doesn't share food. To all the guys saying they'd masturbate, if you're like most women, you are probably about to find out how awesome multiple are. To all the guys saying they'd have, I hope your partner is a giving one. Otherwise, you're probably going to find out how frustrating it is getting close to completion only for your partner to finish without you. And also how creepy it can be to look for a partner if you don't have one already. I feel personally attacked. I don't get not getting your partner off. There's tons of ways to get a woman off. Quite frankly, if you finish early and then get her off other ways, you'll probably have a at the end of it. There's no excuse other than being prissy or lazy. I panic because now all of my IDs and passports will now be different from myself, and I am stuck in a country which I do not have legal visa to stay in because my passport is no longer mine. I will be considered an alien, but the government cannot send me back. Perhaps by chance I will be in the news, reported as a time traveler, magic or some other kind or supernatural phenomenon that brought a human being onto this world. Worst case scenario, I would be locked up in an obscure lab where scientists would investigate the origins of me. Maybe they will find that my DNA is extremely similar to my past self and make a conclusion that defies science. I turned into the opposite gender. Or I would never to be seen again. With the scientists searching for longer and longer, my mental health will deteriorate and maybe die. Best case is that I am left alone. Maybe reporters will flood me in the first few days, but the news will die out and I will finally be at peace, but with none of my past family or friends. But now, Emma, check out my brand new genitals. Everyone is talking about, but I would just want to see the sociological implications. You hear trans individuals talking about how differently they get treated by others post-op, so I'd take that opportunity to see how differently I'm treated in the public sphere as a woman, instead of a man. I transitioned it from male to female at 18, I'm 25 now. That gives me 14 years of male socialization and 8 years of female socialization. My entire view of the world and way of thinking has changed. Not really because of hormones or surgery, but because of the differences in how people treat a man vs a woman. Job interviews, social cues, making friends and maintaining them, safety precautions while alone or on dates, the list goes on. I kinda knew what to expect, but the more I integrated myself and passed as my preferred gender, the more dramatic the differences were. I honestly think the world would advance 100 years if everyone could experience what the other gender experiences for a year or so, and that goes both ways. You know what sucks more than being a black man? Being a black woman. You know what sucks more than being a black woman? Being a 6 feet 2 inches black woman with a really deep voice. I'd still though. Edit, for those who did not understand, I'm actually a 6 feet 2 inches black man with a really deep voice, and if my gender was reversed, I'd have new struggles awaiting me. I'm not looking to portray myself as miserable, because even though I have my struggles I'm still doing fine. I just wanted to point out that it would be very hard because I'd be a black woman, and I know for a fact that black women have it way harder than black men, and if I kept my actual height and my actual voice, I'd be in for a lot of troubles. Everyone is talking about the after. No one's considering that this transformation might be some American Werewolf in London bullshit. Imagine you're slowly receding into your pelvis, and your taint ripping open. Or imagine your vag caving in and sealing shut, pushing all those nerves out the front like a goddamned push-pop. Guys having their guts pushed around to accommodate for the female reproductive system. Women feeling like they're going to blow their ovaries out of there. Not to mention all the muscular and hormonal repercussions. Yeah, no thanks. I'll stick with my junk. Someone's been fantasizing about this. Everyone becoming a prostitute. If I were halfway decent looking, I would. Making a week's pay for 1 or 2 hours of work equals woot. I already have no problem with banging people I hardly know or care about. Some basic safety, some lube, some condoms, and an R63 flip to being a girl, and I found a way to get myself a 6-figure income with no skills besides flirting, laying back, and moaning a little. Do that for maybe a decade or so, retire early with a huge savings account I supplement with financial instruments, interest, occasional forays with prior clients, and being a pay thought. Would so take that over doing retail. Understand what it's like to be transgender as I start the long, painful process of transitioning back to the gender I identify as. Hopefully you're at least young, but regardless, as a trans person I can tell you it's not a good time. Gay and 31. My cousin is FTM and it's taken my husband's Catholic family a bit to accept him, but accepting they are. I consider myself very lucky. All the humor aside, you know what you'd do pretty damn fast? Get to a doctor and say, get me back to what I am. And if the doctor said, but you're a completely normal, healthy man/woman. Why do you want to change that? You'd say, because I know what I am inside. It makes me think sympathetically of my trans friend who has long had a hard time of it. Maybe those who like to say that trans people are mentally ill, perverted, etc., would care to think about that, too. Okay, back to the funny stuff. This was my first thought. A lot of people would understand gender dysphoria, they'd still probably treat trans PPL like shit though. We all may joke about, but think about it. It's the only chance to actually understand what the other partner would feel. That experience might allows you to gain amazing usable knowledge for you. Knowledge of feelings and how to cause them.